So, a very warm good evening and welcome to all our audiences online. I'm Anupama and I'm delighted to host today's Regal Life series, episode 58, with a well known name in the field of business and leadership coaching, Sangeeta Shankaran Sumesh. So, a very warm welcome, Sangeeta. It's a pleasure to host you tonight.
Thank you so much, Anupama. It's a feeling is mutual.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited that we are going to have a conversation which will be very useful for our audiences. So, let me just give a little introduction about you. Although I say little, it's very difficult because there's so much to talk about you. So, Sangeeta is a chief financial officer turned business and leadership coach, contributing by maximizing potential, performance, and profits. An independent director on corporate boards, Sangeeta is on a mission to enable, empower, and elevate businesses with a purpose to serve corporate leaders and teams to shine and succeed. She brings along rich corporate experience of 25 years with multinationals. I'm sure someone will be there in the audiences who will have an age, less than your experience, Sangeeta, and and a recipient of many awards. Sangeeta is a chartered accountant, management accountant, and has completed executive education from Harvard Business School. Wow! And she also has our coach certification from ICF. She's a PCC, a TEDx and global professional speaker, plus best-selling author of books like What the Finance, Get High, and Where is the Mullah. So this is a lot, Sangeeta. I mean, as I'm reading, and wow, feels so great. And
Thank you.
with yeah, so I was just very curious to know that you have a grand career as a CFO, and then you transition as a business and leadership coach. So how
Right.
this transformation has unfolded for you, and how it has transformed you personally and professionally.
That's a great question to start with, Anupama. So, to be honest, I'm a coach by chance. When I started my coaching journey, I did not know who exactly a coach was or what exactly a coach did. But I was just very intrigued by this concept of coaching that I just said, okay, let me just give it a shot. And I had no agenda when I got started. And I think even after I completed my ACCA and, even after I was considering doing my, getting into the certification of PCC, I still wasn't sure. And I didn't quite think I might take it up as a full-time, profession post my CFO days. But what
Mhm.
happened? Coaching did some bit of magic on me because personally, I feel it enhanced like my listening skills, my empathy levels grew. My observation skills started, getting better. And I think it also enabled me to give importance to my intuition because many times we always say, oh, I'm probably just imagining things, and I wouldn't really pay much attention to my intuition. But I think coaching opened doors for all of this from a personal front. And speaking from a professional front as well, like being a CFO and a chartered accountant, I was always like, a numbers person, focusing on numbers and, driving profitability and all of those things. And in that process, I realized something. I had quite shut doors to the human aspect. And I think that's such an important aspect, right? And it was just that, being from a finance background, I was always, driven by numbers and, the results and, the metrics and stuff like that, that I never really paid attention to the human aspect. And that's what coaching did to me. And I was like, wow, I mean, this is such an important aspect. And how did I miss it all these years? So, now what I do is I blend my finance background, my leadership experience, and the coaching skills. And I think that is what creates magic for my clients, whereby I'm enabling people to maximize their potential, performance, and profits.
Wow. I could I just felt somebody has taken me to that magical journey. I can also see these comments coming up, catching the enhanced listening, improved intuition, empathy, and it just coaching opened doors to multiple friends. That's like a celebration and total transformation. Thank you
Absolutely.
for sharing, Sangeeta.
Welcome.
Great. So yeah, so coming to the topic today, like we always keep hearing about, have a coach for the maximum to attain your maximum potential. But here you are talking about maximizing profits. That sounds very interesting because everybody is looking for profits. Who is not, whether it's the corporate or us? So,
Yeah.
just what are your thoughts about what are these profits that we are referring to?
Right, right. That's again a wonderful question, Anupama. So let me break this down into two parts. So, I'll give you real life instances of how profits are maximized both at a personal level and at a business level. So there was this particular client of mine, and who was doing quite well for himself in his career. He had taken up a fairly new job and in a new geography as well. And he had a bit of a challenge in his career wherein he had to report to dual bosses. And both these bosses didn't greatly get along with each other, and each of them had their own thought process. So this poor fellow felt like, he was stuck and caught in between two bosses, not knowing where, what exactly he need to do, whom should he follow, how should he maintain his, the integrity of his role, and, how he can really contribute and what sort of role he had to play, keeping in mind that he also wanted to grow his career. So that was the main topic of our coaching conversations. And as the conversation went along, we came up with methods where how he could cope with both these bosses and stay and retain the integrity aspect of his role, because he was also from a finance background, and therefore his role was very crucial to the business, and he couldn't really afford to be biased or take sides with either of the bosses. So the conversations revolved around that, and then he came up with steps and actions that he could take to maintain all of this intact. And guess what, very soon this person got promoted, and obviously he got a good salary increase as well as a bonus as well, right? So that is what I'm referring to, so saying maximizing the profits both at a personal level and also to give you examples from a business level. Recently I've been, I had the opportunity to coach somebody who has taken up the sales target. He had to achieve sales target, and again he was posted in a new geography. So which meant he was not familiar with the methods, how how the local market functioned, and then he had to manage the local team, and he was just feeling very stuck because he had very ambitious targets to achieve, sales targets. And that was precisely one of the reasons he was posted there, to see how he can grow the sales for the business. Now, I'm not from a sales background and I don't really know much about sales, but you know what? That's the beauty of coaching. You don't have to be a domain expert to coach somebody on a topic that you're not even familiar about, right? So I had this conversation, multiple conversations with this business head who was in charge of sales, and we worked around strategies on how he could achieve his sales target. And by the time the engagement was for, I think, period of 6 to 7 months, and by the end of it he was almost there. And when we started the coaching conversation, he was quite unsure of how he was going to meet this huge amount, and he just felt lost when we started. But I was equally so happy to see and note his progress, that he almost achieved, I think, about 85 to 90% of the target, which was still pretty good, and he was recognized and appreciated by his bosses as well. So that was really such a feel-good moment, right? And so that's an example of how the business grows as well. And in fact, I would also like to talk about another beautiful aspect. So there was this other client of mine who had a very strong belief and a huge ego. And the issue was, he was like, I don't like to ask favors to anybody for anything, right? Be it personal favors or business favors. Now, when we started the coaching conversation, we had a tri-party meeting with his reporting manager as well. And one of the mandates that the reporting manager wanted, him to act on was to see how he could recruit some really good candidates into the team, because they were expanding. And he wanted this person to recruit people from his network, because obviously, they didn't want to pay extra hiring cost and all of those things. And this person, though he had a huge network, he felt like, by posting this requirement in his network, he said, I'm asking people for a favor. Why should I do it? This is not me, and I'm not going to work on it. And he had this strong belief that he will not do this. And during our coaching conversation, something amazing happened. You know, we were able to manage to shift his perspective to say that rather than seeking help from people, what if you were to look at it as you helping people to grow in their career, opening doors for them to see how they can actually grow and contribute and create a win-win. And thereby, he also realized that it was not a personal favor that he was asking for, whereas he was just bringing the two requirements together and matching them, right? And that was an aha moment for him, and he actually succeeded, and thereby the business also saved quite a significant amount of money from the recruitment costs. So, these are examples of how the business profits can also grow as a result of coaching.
Wow.
Yeah, I should also, yes. I would also, I would also like to add on. Now, these are financial aspects I've been talking about. There are also, I would like to give you examples of non-financial aspects, right? Where how the profits can grow, but not really directly from a financial aspect. So let me give you another example here. So this particular client, though he was an extrovert, this business leader, had his own comfort zone. He would network with people whom he was comfortable with, and he would not go beyond that. And he was like, I'm happy with these set of people. Why should I go beyond? And during the tri-party meeting, his manager wanted him to increase his network because they realized that though this person, the business leader, was very efficient and was technically sound and doing well, they were all working in silos, and that wasn't really helping the organization. So that, again, in the coaching conversation, we broke this belief that this business leader had, and then made him realize how he can get out of silos and contribute better and work together as a team with the concerned departments as well. So it might not have a direct financial impact on the business, but obviously it has an indirect impact, and people get along better, they work together in the common interest of the business growth. So this is another example of the non-financial aspect that I thought I should share with you.
Wow. All the stories that you have shared. The last one I was just thinking, it is like collaboration is many companies we have seen that is a great value of collaborating, and nothing can work without that. And if we can bring such kind of shifts by shifting the belief, and we all have some of the beliefs, just have to validate whether it is serving us anymore or not. It can be so useful. Like I see it as 1 + 1 as 11. That's again another
Absolutely. Yes, that's a great perspective.
Yeah, so it sounds like so much of value is there, and just by changing that one shift in the perspective, where instead of seeing that as a asking for favor, rather you are doing a service to your network and you are connecting the people. It's huge.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. Okay, so I would just like to know that if we consider coaching, it always comes with, financial and time investment. A lot of time goes in, and it's a deep work, right? So if we consider this as an investment by leaders or teams, then what will be the ROI? Because everybody in today's world wants to know what is my return on investment on it. So what it will be for which the leaders must invest their time and themselves into coaching.
Yes. So before we even get into ROI, right, I would like to pause and give yet another example of our recent chess champion, Gukesh, right? Gukesh was also working with a coach, Paddy, right? So you see, Paddy is not a chess coach, but then Paddy helped Gukesh to work from a mental aspect and then get his strength. And what I always say is, if you were to look at any sports champion globally in any sports, each of them work with a coach. So why should it be any different in the corporate world, right? Because a coach is there, a coach is, enhances your awareness levels, acts as a sounding board, holds the mirror for you, is being an accountability partner, right? And therefore, working with a coach firstly, everybody, I say, everybody needs a coach, right? So they need to understand that it's in their own interest, right? That somebody works with a coach and they are the ones to actually get benefited. So that's the first thing. Now, coming to your second part of the question on the ROI, like I think the examples I've given in the beginning of our conversation obviously shows that there is profits, and profits is nothing but ROI, right? So again, to give you yet another example, I was working with a group CFO, right? And this CFO was highly efficient, one of the top performers, and was doing an amazing job from the finance perspective. Now, the chairman of the company once happened to meet this person, and during their casual conversation he mentioned, yeah, you're doing an amazing job from a finance perspective, but I think you can do a lot more. And somewhere mentioned a bit of disappointment and dissatisfaction, saying that you probably can go beyond finance as well. Now, hearing this, the group CFO actually went into a kind of a shell, because he started telling himself, I'm probably not good enough. And, that's why the chairman feels this way about me. And that's why he was probably even vocal about it. And it was kind of a negative spiral that he was getting into. And he opened this up during one of our coaching conversations. And that's when, again, yet another limiting belief was broken, because this group CFO also realized that he could work a lot more and contribute from a strategy perspective. And therefore, our coaching conversations then started revolving around business strategy, on how and what are their actions, and how this person can actually find time for towards the strategic initiatives, strategic thinking, and implement actions from a strategic perspective that will help and enable the business to grow further. So you see, all of these directly translates to ROI from my perspective, because end of the day, corporate leaders are here to maximize the efficiency levels of their organization, and all they need is a little bit of nudge from probably a coach who can help them achieve what they want. So I think that is a good example I've given you on the ROI.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And thanks for bringing in Gukesh. And I'm so thankful that this has happened, that people are now talking about coach. Somebody the other day just said, oh, are you doing that same coaching stuff? When they heard about this. So, I mean,
Right.
it's very obvious that if somebody is investing into getting
Right.
coached, it is really worth. And I would say it is not like something good to have. It is kind of must have, especially when
Absolutely.
you are in that high performance field. And then we know that leaders are always there. And why not even leaders? I would say that teams these days, with the this agile world we have today, so much of pressure is there to just keep changing, adapting to the customer needs, and whatever it is. So with that, I would just move to the next question, that while we have been talking about teams now, um, if the leaders can get so much benefited by just having this coaching, what if the entire team gets coached? And I see that you also do team coaching. So tell us a little more about it
Yes.
and how it can benefit the teams.
Yes, absolutely. So let me give another example out here. So I was doing a leadership workshop, like a team development, team coaching for the leadership team, and they were all like very, very good in their domain. Most of them were techies. It was for a software company, and while it was focusing only on leadership development as such, and they had a lot of different aha moments during the process. But let me give you a specific instance from this team coaching. So coming from a finance background, what I made them to think and reflect on was to see what sort of financial impacts can they bring, right? How can they actually contribute to the financial gains of the business? Because end of the day, even though you are a technical person and may not have a direct correlation with the financial aspect of the business, it's highly important to see what sort of financial impact are you able to make for the organization, right? Because that's when the business grows, and when the business grows, you get recognized as well as one of the high performing leaders. So end of the day, it's all about moolah, like I say, moolah is money, right? So that is what happened in the team coaching. This was again a a wonderful example. And I do customized workshops for my clients, and some of them I do it based on my books as well, and then I see what are the client's requirements and customize my workshops depending on the client's needs and requirements.
Wow. So, as you said, if we are investing on the team coaching, and when we can bring in everybody to think about the profits, the finances part of it, which generally is not very tangible at a ground root level. So that can bring so much. I mean, just a transition in the way they look at their roles. Wow,
That's right.
that was amazing. And as you were just mentioning about your book, you are a renowned author and you have written so many books. So just tell us a little bit about your books and how can the leaders and the coaches can get benefited from it.
Right. Okay. Thanks for that. So I have written 4 books. The first one was a spiritual thriller. It's called A Glance at the Unknown. So when I started telling people that, I've written a book, everybody assumed it to be a finance book. And then they said a CFO with, so many years experience, you have to write a finance book. So that led me to writing What the Finance, which is a national bestseller. And that book talks about simple and easy practices that enables high performance for the business, right? So again, it simplifies finance, breaks down the complexities of finance. So, it talks about this is your problem, this is your solution. So something very simple, basic, direct. And it has also talks about some interesting financial journeys of some of the very successful and well-known entrepreneurs whom I interviewed for this book, like including Girish Mathrubootham of Freshworks, Mr. C.K. Kumaravel of Naturals, Mr. Murugavel of Matrimony, and quite a few others, Mr. Arun Jain, and so on and so forth. So it has their financial journey, their learnings, their mistakes, and what not to do. And then it also has some questions like for food for thought. So makes the people to think. How can I apply it in my business, right? And I think that's where the coaching aspect comes into play, because as a coach, we are always probing people, making them think and reflect, right? So that aspect I brought into that book. And then after that, I used to give a lot of talks. So I take up speaking engagements as well. And I used to talk a lot on high performance, because I believe high performance leads to high profits. So as I was giving a lot of these talks, people started asking me, do you have a book on high performance? So which led me to write my next book, which is called Get High: How to Coach Yourself for High Performance in Your Work. So this book is completely from a coaching perspective. I've given live examples, and because some of the common problems I've taken to see how people can utilize it, and then I've given frameworks for each of those issues to see how people can maximize their own performance and be a high performer in the way that in whatever profession or work that they are doing. So that book is been endorsed by Marshall Goldsmith, and that was like really a feel good moment for me. And then I wrote the next book, which is called Where's the Moolah? Moolah, like we know, is money, right? So that talks about financial growth hacking for business profitability. So in that book, again, I have broken down, I've given a lot of interesting examples, right from an individual entrepreneur to large corporates. And I also interviewed a lot of these successful business leaders to share their thoughts and, from their experience, dig out and share their wisdom over the years. So that is also yet another interesting read. And I conduct workshops on each of these books, right? So again, I match them to the client's requirements, understand, what exactly they're looking for, and then, drive it towards their needs. So that is something about my books.
Wow. It's looks like a lot of wisdom and self-reflective things are there. So I will look forward to buy one, get it signed from you, and read it. Look forward to it.
Yes.
Great. So so far it has been a very insightful conversation, Sangeeta, and we are almost 4 minutes over time. So anything that you would like to just have as a closing remark for our audiences today?
I think I would just say that everybody needs a coach, including myself, right? Because you always need that. It's nice to have that extra support, somebody who's nudging you, somebody who wants you to go and, get that extra mile, and who's an accountability partner. Because, sometimes we are so busy and caught up in our day-to-day routine that, we tend to miss with, over a million things in our head. So it's always nice to have that accountability partner, somebody who's like nudging you. And even though you know that you need to do it, when there's somebody who's pushing you to take the action, that's when I think it's really, really rewarding experience. So go ahead and, work with a coach, maximize your potential performance and gain your profits.
Absolutely, and I will just take just add to that that many a times in so much of chaotic life and things are running so fast. Where's the time to even take out and sit? When you have a coach, at least you break through all that
Absolutely.
routine that is going
True.
on and take some time.
Very right. Very right. Yes.
Beautiful. So it has been a pleasure to have you here, Sangeeta. Thank you so much for taking out time. And it is a special month for Regal. We're just Regal Unlimited. We have
Yes.
celebrated the 12th year, so it's very very
That's right.
special.
Yes. Yes.
So
I'm so
it
glad
has
to be
been.
part of it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, and see you soon. Good night.
Yes. Yes. All
Take
the very
care.
best. Take care then. See you. Bye.
Bye.